I love amplifiers, receivers, turntables, headphones, Denon brands. Today I fully tested the Denon PMA 900HNE. This is the latest streaming amp, and I think this 900 Denon is an evolution of the old Denon PMA 720 integrated amplifier. Inside, this Denon, on the right side, has a huge block that is responsible for the digital part of this amplifier. In this digital, shielded unit, which is hidden under the cover, there is a digital to analog converter, an MC, phono stage, all Heos stuffing, and other digital devices. In the center of the amplifier, there is a power amplifier with two powerful capacitors, so that the amplifier has enough energy and also to filter the mains current. On the left side, on a special pedestal, there is a transformer that feeds the Denon system with electricity. Of particular note is the power amplifier used in the Denon PMA 900HNE. Most of the previous Denons were famous for soft, loose, lingering bass. Many people liked this bass and liked it. For example, I have also long been a fan of the loose, lingering, fluffy Denon bass. But, in this amplifier, Denon has applied a new technology. Here I installed, advanced HC single push-pull circuit. When an amplifier amplifies the sound, it is very difficult for it to reproduce the low frequencies because they require a lot of energy, and it is very difficult to reproduce the mid and high frequencies at the same time because they require a lot of precision. If we compare the work of a sound amplifier with the work of a person, then imagine in your left hand you need to take a 16 kilogram weight and do exercises. This is an analog with the reproduction of the low frequencies of the amplifier. In your right hand you need to take the thinnest tool and repair the watch. To do this, you need precision, filigree and incredible concentration. The same way an amplifier works. He shakes the bass with his left hand, and for this he needs a lot of energy, but with the top and middle Denon works with his right hand, where very high accuracy is needed. Doing both of these things at the same time is incredibly difficult. Therefore, in the Denon PMA 900HNE, the developers installed high-speed Darlington transistors and applied new circuitry. As a result, the bass here should be fast, powerful, and of high quality. At the same time, the upward and vocal range must be clear, accurate and legible. Let's see how this affects the sound quality when I talk about the sound of the Denon PMA 900HNE. Interestingly, in appearance, this Denon is very similar to my old Denon, which I used to listen to. I had a Denon 520, I listened to a Denon PMA 720, I listened to Denon's PMA 1500R, 1500R2 and 1500AE. And, Denon 900s are very reminiscent of them. First, they have a very similar front panel. Aluminum, thick and milled. When you run your hand over it, a vibration is created, like a creak. When I move my hand along the panel, the owner of the Avex salon in which I am now tells me, "Do not leave handprints here." Like all Denons, there is a huge knob in the center for adjusting the volume. Official stuff. Spins smoothly, incredibly pleasant. Compared to all previous Denon models, the front panel has a display with dull blue numbers and letters. It displays the volume level if you change it with a pen, either from the phone or from the remote control. On the display you will see the information change if you switch inputs. The display shows which input you have currently selected. When using a tone block, the display shows an increase or decrease in tonal balance. On the left side of the Denon amplifier are the tone block. Here, you can adjust the bass and you can adjust the treble. You can turn the balance. You can turn on the source direct mode, turn off the tone block completely and get the purest sound bypassing the tone block. Near the button to switch the speakers, You can choose to play a pair of speakers A pair of speakers B. You can turn them on together, or turn them off altogether. This little button here is the mm per megacoulomb phono stage switch. Unlike many other models, the Denon PMA 900HNE has two modes of mm and mc phono stage, and you can switch this mode on the front panel. There's also a headphone jack, and I tested how this Denon PMA 900HNE sounds with my magnetoplanar headphones, which I always use for just such occasions. And so mate, the look of this Denon is pretty darn attractive. Sorry, I won't keep repeating the name of his model Denon PMA 900HNE. This letter abbreviation is so difficult to pronounce that in order to repeat it, I had to practice and practice. I'll just say Denon. There are 4 analog inputs on the rear panel. You can connect here to play vinyl, which is very important in our time. Everyone wants vinyl, so you can plug in a vinyl and select the mm or mc phono mode. Next comes the digital part. First 3 optical inputs, for connecting a TV, CD player or any other source. Interestingly, the digital optical input, which is marked as TV input, works in automatic mode. If you decide to use the 900 Denon as a TV amplifier, then when you turn on the TV, the amplifier automatically recognizes that you have turned on the TV. Turns on and starts playback. This is a feature, but in this mode of operation, there is only one optical input, which is marked as TV. There is also one coaxial input for connecting digital sources. If you do not have the opportunity to connect via optics, connect via coaxial. Also, it is possible to connect it to the internet using an Ethernet plug. And the most basic type of connection, in my opinion, is, of course, a Wi-Fi antenna, so that the device can be connected to your network without wires. Also, from analog, I would like to point out that the Denon has a line out, and there is a subwoofer out. If bass is not enough for you, connect a subwoofer and enjoy fat, big, powerful, full bass. Also, on the rear panel are 2 pairs of plugs for connecting speakers. You can connect either 2 pairs of speakers separately, or connect 1 pair of speakers using biwiring. That is, using different pairs of wires. On the rear panel, from digital communication, there is an input for connecting a hard drive. I connected my hard drive here with a 2 TB USB plug. I'll tell you what I did a little later when the time comes. And another way to connect is Bluetooth. Also a digital method. By the way, I'll tell you right away about Bluetooth. I tested all the ways to get sound, and from this amplifier and Bluetooth I rejected. Firstly, the Denon PMA 900HNE Bluetooth receiver does not support the aptX codec, or aptX HD, or LDAC, a Japanese codec. Here is the usual, simple Bluetooth codec. When you switch from using the Heos application to using Bluetooth, then for me personally the difference is simply dramatically audible, and I recommend using Bluetooth here only for optional, informational purposes. Or, to listen to an audiobook, and it's more convenient for you to do it via Bluetooth. In order to get maximum sound quality from Denon, it is better to connect a hard drive with audio collections, or use a streaming service. Of course, it is possible to connect a high-quality, external source. Here you can choose for yourself. Answer. As for the digital part, the digital to analog converter supports signal decoding up to 24/190 seconds. This is a high-res format. Denon reads FLAC files. The device reads WAV, MP3 and other files. Interestingly, when connecting the hard drive, I connected my 2 TB hard drive. The 900's Denon did not see it right away. The external hard drive had to be reconnected a couple of times. Only then did Denon read it. If you keep your collection of files in FLAC format and use the Q file to split the files into tracks. That 900's Denon does not read the Q file. That is, it sees the entire music album in one piece. When you do this on a computer, listen to music from the hard drive, the computer understands the Q file and breaks the entire album into tracks. All file formats that I had on the disk, DSD files, WAV, FLAC and MP3 Denon read quite well. Hard drive navigation through Heos using a phone or tablet. And in Heos you can choose how you navigate the collection, either by albums, or by files, or by artists, or by folders. Choose according to your taste, as you like. I've used Tidal through Heos, and as usual, Heos isn't very Tidal friendly. But in principle, after several trials and attempts, I understood how it works and problems. Tidal works quickly but a little differently than in the original application. As for the streaming services supported by the 900's Denon, it's Tidal, it's Spotify, it's Deezer, it's Tunnel In and Internet Radio. Heos has a whole bunch of stuff. Please check the link in the description. Denon power is 50 watts at 8 ohms. At 4 ohms it already puts out 2 by 85 watts. According to Denon, this amplifier can easily drive speakers with an impedance of 4 ohms. Today, I relentlessly raced a 900's Denon with a Focal Kanta N2 floor-standing 3-way speaker, which is considered not quite right for this amp. Because it's not easy at all. It is large and it has 3 lanes. You know what's interesting? I didn't notice at all that Denon was having a hard time. I was under the impression that the 900 Denon pumped those big floor standers with ease and showed me everything I wanted from it. Well, I will not drag the rubber for a long time. Answer my friend, by sound. Sweeping, rollicking, loose, lingering Denon's bass is gone somewhere in the past. With the new Denon, the bass is fast, crisp, and superbly audible. When you listen to music, you can clearly hear the drum beat, you can clearly hear the bass section, you can clearly hear the vocal range, and you can hear fantastic, metallic cymbals. Such crisp, clear metal in sound is hard to hear from any amp in this price range. Denon's cymbals are real ringing metal, which you hear and which you even feel. This metal, it scatters around the room with bright splashes, overtones, live sparks. A real involvement in listening to musical compositions is created. The voice range is a bit harsh in my opinion. It's not that harsh enough that it causes discomfort. Quite a bit harsh upper, middle frequency range. The good news is that it doesn't cause any discomfort at all. You hear a clear, crisp, distinct voice. Voiced, metallic up, fast punchy bass. Dude, that's a really cool sound that hit me today. I would like to say that this device is some kind of genre. But, in fact, I can't say that some genre plays worse, and some genre Denon plays better. I listened to rock today, I listened to metal, hip-hop today. I listened to jazz and electronic music. I listened to pop. Denon played all the listed genres brilliantly, and the only complaint is that he sucks at playing shitty records. If you turn on some record from the distant 70s and 80s, which is badly recorded in itself, then the 900's Denon does not play it well. Because she's bad on her own. But, my friend, this device really struck me. New, small, neat display. It looks awesome on this vintage, solid milled, aluminum panel. I want to say a few more words about spatial reproduction. Before that, I talked about tonal balance and how the 900's Denon sounds with big acoustics, and now I want to add a few words about how I hear the space. The depth of the stage is about 1.5, 2, on some musical compositions 2.5 meters. When I listened to DSD sources, the scene parted and deepened very significantly. The scene parted to infinity. You can clearly hear the positioning of the musicians to the right or left of the vocalists. In some cases, you can hear the scene separating in depth. But separation is not pronounced. You cannot, while listening to music, see that the musicians are at different distances from each other. Yes, you can hear the piano playing on the left, you can hear the guitarist playing on the right, you can hear the vocalist is in the center and the drummer is in the background. But in principle, the space between the musicians is not felt. The images of the musicians are quite natural, as it should be. Because the unnatural images of musicians are when you, listening to music, see how they are cut with a laser. Then, buzzing in your ears, harshness, just kills in you any desire to listen to music for a long time. Denon paints soft, flowing images of the musicians you hear left and right of center. Plus, easy separation in depth, without a clear distance. But, nevertheless, we are not talking about high-end technology now, but about, let's say, medium-level technology that sounds much better than the average level. As promised, I'll tell you how the 900's Denon plays with headphones. B used his HIFI MAN He4XX drop edition magnetoplanes. Connects with a 6.35mm plug. When you plug your headphones into the headphone jack on the front panel, the speakers don't turn off automatically. You need to disable the speakers manually using the speakers button on the front panel. With the help of brute force, get to the point where they are turned off, and then you can enjoy the sound in the headphones. I can't say that the sound of the headphones surprised me here. It is good quality. Music is heard from the very bottom to the very top. Accurately, clearly, evenly, powerfully. You can hear how the musicians are positioned in space. Someone is to the left, someone is to the right of the center. But, in principle, I can't say that this is a high-end headphone amplifier. Just a good, high-quality amplifier for good headphones priced up to 150 to 200 euros. Connecting anything more expensive here does not make any sense. In Riga, I managed to find only one place where you can listen to 900's Denon. This is Avex at 9A Katlikalna Street entrance F. Well mate, I've told you everything I know about the 900 feet Denon. I want to tell you that the premium HIFI channel is developing, and in order to improve the picture quality, to improve the sound quality, to improve the light quality, I need to constantly update the filming equipment. Under the video, you can find a thank you button and thank you all. All donations go straight to the purchase of new equipment and to update what is. That's all, thank you, see you next time.